This is WSFA Montgomery, Alabama's news source.
The Alabama Senate loses another day due to the lack of a quorum. Now the courts are stepping in. Our top story next. And the world bids a fond farewell to baseball's class act. That and more straight ahead on Live at 5.
From Alabama's news source, this is WSFA News 12 Live at 5. Your first look at the evening news.
Hello and welcome to Live at 5. I'm Kim Hendricks. The saga continues in the war between Democratic senators and Republican Lieutenant Governor Steve Windham. Today, 18 Democratic senators went to court to try and stop Windham from seizing control of the Senate. Eileen Jones was at that hearing. She joins us now from the newsroom. And Eileen, any progress to report today?
Well, Circuit Judge Charles Price did rule that he does have jurisdiction to hear a lawsuit filed against Windham. The Attorney General's office immediately appealed to the state Supreme Court to stop the proceeding. But until there's word from the Supreme Court, the judge's ruling stands. Today, Judge Price heard from both sides of the dispute. Attorneys representing the Lieutenant Governor argued that because of the separation of the three branches of government, the court has no jurisdiction over this issue. They feel the Senate should resolve its own problems. On the other hand, attorneys for the 18 boycotting senators say there are no guarantees anything will be resolved without a roll call vote. The judge also denied a motion to quash a subpoena for the Lieutenant Governor to appear in court. The Democrats want him to testify under oath as to whether he heard their objections and their no votes to his rule changes. But after calling the Senate to order at noon, the Lieutenant Governor did not adjourn it until late this afternoon, even though he didn't have a quorum. The Constitution protects him there because as long as he is on the floor of the Senate, he cannot be ordered out of the chamber to go to court. Now, Judge Price has taken this dispute under advisement, and he says he will make a ruling on it tomorrow at 1:30. Kim?
Eileen, in the meantime, will the Senate try to meet again tomorrow?
The Senate, I am sure, will try to meet again, and I'm sure it will be a repeat of what we have seen the last few days.
Okay, thank you, Eileen. In other news this evening, a surprise twist in Selma this morning as former police chief Randy Llewellyn changed his plea to guilty. The former top cop is charged with 48 counts of federal tax fraud and conspiracy. Llewellyn and 3 others are charged with billing the city for work that was never done to the tune of more than $725,000.
As the mayor of Selma, it's real shocking to me. It was a tragic event. It was a black cloud over the city of Selma, and it's finally coming to an end. And I'm sorry for the families of the people involved, but these were people that were put in positions of high trust, and it's just been a shock to everybody.
I want this community to know that we take this kind of behavior very seriously. We're not going to tolerate public officials stealing money from taxpayers and using their office for personal gain.
Llewellyn will be sentenced June 7th. The 3 others involved in the scheme, former city clerk Mary Ramsey and contractors Gary Etheridge and John Threlkill, will be sentenced in mid-March. In Montgomery, police officers went undercover to clean up some city parks that have become known for homosexual activity. Police conducted the sting last Thursday and Friday, arresting 9 men for loitering for the purpose of deviant behavior. Officers used technical equipment and undercover tactics to pull off the operation in Oak Park and Lagoon Park. Each of the men was jailed under $100 bond. All have been released. The sting came after several complaints by people upset over the goings-on in the parks. A new report ranks Alabama 3rd in the nation for driving deaths caused by aggressive driving. Among the cities in Alabama, Montgomery ranked highest for aggressive driving fatalities, while Mobile was a close second. The report was published by Surface Transportation Policy Project in Washington. It focuses on fatal traffic accidents influenced by drivers who were speeding, tailgating, making unsafe lane changes, and running stop signs at red lights. Researchers found aggressive driving is a factor in nearly half of all deadly car crashes in the United States. Country singer George Jones is improving after a near-fatal car crash over the weekend. Jones was seriously hurt Saturday when he smashed his sports utility vehicle into a bridge near his home. He remains in critical condition at a hospital in Nashville, but his doctors say he's made significant improvement. They're hoping to take him off a ventilator as soon as this evening. Jones was talking on his cell phone at the time of the accident, and police say he was not wearing a seatbelt. America has lost a baseball hero and a legendary figure. Joe DiMaggio died last night from complications of lung cancer. He was one of baseball's most remarkable players. Mark Strassman looks back at his life.
Joe DiMaggio. Joe DiMaggio.
One way or another, Americans always sang his praises. First as Joltin' Joe DiMaggio, the Yankee Clipper, the dominant ball player of his generation. He made it all look so easy, which is why at baseball's Hall of Fame and across America, admirers now take his death so hard.
What can you say? Greatest living ball player I've ever seen play.
There was something about Joe DiMaggio there was an aura about Joe DiMaggio that was just legendary.
In the magical summer of 1941, DiMaggio hit safely in 56 consecutive games, one of sport's most cherished records. Even more celebrated, the DiMaggio style, dignified, elegant, unassuming. He married Marilyn Monroe, briefly, unhappily. He was intensely private about her and about everything. Like a children's wing he founded at this Florida hospital, where last October he was operated on for lung cancer.
But Mr. DiMaggio was an American icon. He was much more than a sports hero. He was a hero in life itself.
This was DiMaggio last September at Yankee Stadium, a day in his honor for a lifetime of simple grace. Mark Strassman, NBC News, Hollywood, Florida.
So how are people in Alabama remembering Joltin' Joe? We stopped by the Montgomery Council on Aging's Archibald Center to see what people will remember about DiMaggio, the baseball player, and the man.
I just remember he was just a great player because I used to watch his team all the time when he was in San Francisco because I lived in California, and so we'd go to the games. And he's a great guy. And like you said, Marilyn Monroe, of course, but that was secondary to his playing. He was really a great ball player.
Well, I think he retired batting average with .315. I believe that's correct. And the biggest thing I remember about him, he married Marilyn Monroe.
I believe that he was the role model for many of the young people during his time as a baseball player.
What do you think he taught kids?
Well, that hard work. He was enthusiastic about the game, and I believe he was always a straight shooter, as the young kids say.
You know, he was an institution. There was apple pie, his mom and apple pie, and baseball. And when you said baseball, then Joe DiMaggio was part of it.
Joe DiMaggio was 84 years old. Rich Thomas says, get your weather radio out. We may have some severe weather tonight. He joins us next with our forecast. And do you have a question about your health? Our phone lines are open, and Dr. Wick Manny is here to answer your calls. Just call the number on your screen, 280-1003. Call now and we'll answer your questions live on the air when Live at 5 continues.
You are watching WSFA News 12 Live at 5 with Kim Hendricks.
I'm Reggie White, and all my life, I've had to be tougher than the next guy. After all, it takes a strong, powerful man to do what I do for a living. But I believe it takes even a bigger man to ask for help when life's problems get to be too much. But what's guided me through life's turbulent times has been my personal relationship with God. It's given me hope, it's given me peace, it's given me happiness. If life sometimes gets you down, if it just seems too much at times, there's a book that can start you on your way to a personal relationship with God. It's called Power for Living, and it's an incredible book. It's honest, easy to read, and tells it like it is in helping you get your life back on track. Power for Living. It can show you how to cope with the everyday problems that plague us all.
Power for Living is free. To get your free copy, just call this toll-free number. No obligation, and no one will call. Call now for your free copy of Power for Living.
Call now to start your personal relationship with God.
There's a new bell ringing in Alabama. It's time to answer the call.
Now you have a choice in local phone service, the smart choice. States Communications. The only change, your choice of phone company. Same number, same features. Plus, up to 20% overall savings and as low as 6.9 cents a minute on long-distance calls.
It's time to make the smart choice. Call State Communications.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Ziegler Jumbos. For over 70 years, a tradition of great taste.
Tomorrow morning at 6 on WSFA News 12's Today in Alabama.
Hair transplants are an art, and there's a surgeon that has mastered the technique.
That's right, a new head of hair in half the time. And we'll discuss tort reform with the president of Alabama's Trial Lawyers Association.
Find out what happened in your world overnight. Get an early look at the news and the morning weather forecast. Wake up with Today in Alabama tomorrow morning at 6 on WSFA, Alabama's news source. Now, the WSFA Storm Team's Rich Thomas.
Came off of a lot of sunshine yesterday and then much cooler with that breeze today.
Well, yeah, you know, actually, it was in the low 60s, but you'd swear it was much cooler.
Oh, it felt much colder.
And you know that wind means that there's a change on the way.
Changes in the air.
Storm system, which could bring some severe weather to the state of Alabama tonight. It's what we're calling March Madness because there's going to be 3 weather systems to deal with. This is going to be a very active week. Here's a look at what's happening on Tower Cam. You know, those clouds look angry. You'd swear it's going to storm any moment, but there's not a storm for hundreds of miles. Everything's fine right now. And temperatures are, you know, a little cool as we look around the region. 50s at Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, and Auburn. 60s down south, including 63 at Ozark and Dothan. And right now, 60 out at Danley Field. 39% relative humidity. The winds out of the east-southeast at 13 have been gusting at times to up to 30 miles per hour today. It's been a very windy day, and that's because of a strong pressure gradient. Now, you don't see it there, but the dew point is 35, and that's important. That dew point is not really conducive to severe weather yet. The conditions over Alabama are just not ripe for severe weather at the moment, but there's a lot of severe weather out to the west of us, and you'd be surprised how quickly the atmosphere can adapt here in Alabama. So maybe in the middle of the night we might see some severe thunderstorms. There is a tornado watch, a brand new one now, parts of Mississippi and Louisiana. Another one over in Texas, and one farther north into Oklahoma. So this very active, oh, and what a powerful storm. This is really going to be remembered as a huge snowstorm. Some places are going to get a foot or more as it goes through the Great Lakes and then eventually into the Northeast. Now, there's a little bit of light shower activity coming into West Alabama right now. Most of this blue stuff is just sprinkles. The heavier stuff still west of the Mississippi River, and it'll be late tonight or the wee hours of the morning before we see it here. So let's show you the situation as it moves on to the east tonight. This is the evening hours tonight, and then in the middle of the night, this system kind of slides onto the east, still with us tomorrow morning, but then clearing skies tomorrow afternoon, and better weather tomorrow night. So we get a little break in the action Wednesday before another storm system Thursday. Here's your forecast. For the evening hours, mostly cloudy, continued quite breezy, 56 for the evening temperature. And then showers and thunderstorms late tonight could be severe. Southeast winds 12 to 22 and gusty with a 50 for the overnight low. And tomorrow morning, showers and thunderstorms in the morning. Continued windy up to about 56 in the morning hours and 67 tomorrow afternoon with partly cloudy skies returning. And a little break in the action Wednesday before more storms Thursday. And there could be another set of storms over the weekend at some point. March Madness.
Rock and roll week, you're right. This is March Madness. Thank you, Rich.
Right.
Okay, ladies, if you're a working woman, and who isn't really, this is your day. Coming up later, Todd Rossnagel profiles a woman who has her hands full running a business and a city. And there's still a chance for you to call Dr. Wick Manny, dial 280-1003 with your medical questions, and we'll answer them live. Coming up.
Tomorrow on Today, what would you say if Monica Lewinsky were your daughter, Bernie Lewinsky, on how his family has fared in the past year? Plus, how men can help the women in their lives through menopause and the smartest fashions this spring. So join us tomorrow and see what a difference today makes.
Next, Rosie, the hysterical Ray Romano.
Big laugh. Everybody cracks up.
Star of the hit show, everyone loves Raymond. And the fabulous Patty Lupone. Next, Rosie.
Weekday afternoons at 4 on WSFA.
Let's try an experiment. I want you to think of the 10 things you want most out of life and just yell them at me. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. That's good. Oh, that's good. Me too. Okay, now, stop. I'm going to show you a way that you can have all of these things happen. Pretty neat, huh? Okay, now, cue the music and that star thing.
Heavy or squeezing chest pain,
shortness of breath, dizziness, nausea, or sweating, aching in the shoulders, neck, or arm.
If you experience any of the early warning signs of a heart attack, this is your worst enemy. Because the longer you wait to seek help, the less your chances of surviving. Learn heart attack symptoms and the importance of immediate treatment. The Baptist Chest Pain Center is equipped to handle cardiac emergencies 24 hours a day. Because when the hands of the clock are against you, it's important to place yourself in the right hands.
Tonight at 9, 8 Central, a special Monday episode of Law and Order.
He and his mother had a plan to kill you.
Ripped from the headlines, mother and son serial killers.
Might be more bodies out there.
And you won't believe the mother of all twists.
Mommy made me do it.
A special Monday Law and Order, 9, 8 Central, NBC tonight.
Doesn't get any simpler than that.
Dateline Monday, Andrew Cunanan. He gripped the country in fear and silenced Johnny Versace. Now a new book looks at his mind and madness. Dateline Monday.
You're watching WSFA News 12 Live at 5's Top 5 at 5. A look at the day's top stories.
The Montgomery judge will make a ruling tomorrow over whether Lieutenant Governor Steve Windham violated the constitutional rights of his Democratic colleagues. The Attorney General's office argued that the separation of powers should keep Circuit Judge Charles Price from hearing a suit filed by 18 Democratic senators. But Price ruled the courts can become involved in legislative matters that involve substantive issues. The Attorney General's office immediately appealed to the state Supreme Court to stop the proceedings. Former Selma Police Chief Randy Llewellyn pleaded guilty today in a bogus invoice scheme that stole at least $724,000 from the city. Llewellyn was the last of 4 suspects in the theft ring to enter his plea. Llewellyn's plea came in Selma as his trial was about to begin. He'll be sentenced June 7th and could possibly receive a life prison term. Montgomery police arrested 9 men suspected of soliciting sexual favors from other men in 2 local parks. The men arrested are from Montgomery, Greenville, Millbrook, and Tallahassee. Officers picked them up last Thursday and Friday during undercover stings at Oak Park and Lagoon Park. The men are charged with loitering for the purpose of engaging in deviant sexual behavior. A new report out today ranks Alabama 3rd in the nation for fatalities caused by aggressive driving. And among all the cities in Alabama, Montgomery is ranked the worst in deaths caused by speeders, tailgaters, and drunk drivers. The study was published by the Surface Transportation Policy Project based in Washington. 1 year ago today, major floods caused extensive damage in Elba. The Alabama National Guard and the Emergency Management Agency evacuated nearly 2,000 residents from their flooded homes as the levee collapsed on Beaver Creek. The evacuation took place as storms and floods claimed 5 lives in South Alabama. Okay, the phone lines are open, so what's your medical question? Dr. Wick Manny is on call, and he joins us to provide some answers. It's good to see you again, Dr. Manny. Let's get straight to the phone.
Okay.
We have Jennifer from Ottaville on the line. Jennifer, what's your question?
If you can't, like, take diet pills, what do you recommend for me to take if I'm on a diet or trying to go on a diet?
The question is there a preferred medication for diet pills? That is obviously a very hot topic now. There's been a lot of drugs out there that have been promoted as being effective in assisting in weight loss. However, some of these medications have significant and potentially even life-threatening side effects. There are some other drugs that are now available on the market which are not life-threatening in nature, but can be associated with some undesirable side effects that you perhaps would not prefer to live with. When it really gets down to the bottom line, unfortunately, there are not any medications that are going to really make a difference in a weight loss program. The most important thing is the old tried and trues as far as reducing calories, reducing fat calories, and increasing your exercise as much as possible. Because it is truly a change in lifestyle that will assist you in your weight loss program.
So still no magic pill. We all keep waiting for that.
I wish there were.
Yeah, I do too. It'd make things a lot easier.
Yeah.
Let's go back to our caller calling in from Dadeville. Go ahead. What's your question?
I've been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and I would like some information on it. What am I to expect? Will it get much more painful, or I just want to know what to expect.
Yes, ma'am. Well, it's important to realize that many patients with rheumatoid arthritis can have a brief period of illness and then almost go into a period of remission, whereas others, illness will wax and wane. In other words, there'll be times when it's worse and then times when it's better. And then others will have a progressive course in which the joint discomfort will worsen over time. So unfortunately, there's not any specific predictive factors. There are a few blood tests that could assist your physician in letting you know what you could expect, in the sense that with worsening of some of the blood tests, you may have a more severe course. The most important thing is to continue follow-up and see your physician, because again, many times with rheumatoid arthritis, you may have worsening, and then again, you may have some relaxation of the symptoms. So it's unfortunately, we cannot predict totally what to expect, but what's important to realize that we do have some very good treatments out there right now, not necessarily drugs that would cure rheumatoid arthritis, but certainly control the symptoms significantly and allow for maintenance of a good life, activities.
Okay, also, if you have a question for Dr. Manny, we also encourage you to write it down and send it to us. The address is 12 East Delano, Montgomery, 36105. And watch right here every Monday to see your questions answered. Dr. Manny, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
We'll see you next week.
Take care.
Rich Thomas joins in again with our evening forecast coming up next. And Neighborhood News reporter Todd Rossnagel celebrates International Working Women's Day.
Celebration of the big day, we'll head to Wetumpka and visit with one of the hardest working women around. It's all coming up next in Neighborhood News.
Will you know if a tornado is coming? Your life could depend on it. Hi, I'm Rich Thomas from the WSFA Storm Team. Now you can receive severe weather warnings directly on your pager, wherever you are, thanks to Storm Page. If you're outside, in church, at a mall, at school, Storm Page can be your family's first warning of serious danger. Call toll-free 1-877-ALERT-12, exclusively from Arch Paging and the Weather Company. When seconds count, count on the WSFA Storm Team and Storm Page.
Get a handle on things and get a $25 credit from Bell South.
Everyone's coming. I have to lose 30 pounds in 3 days. Greg Johnson.
Oh. Caller ID lets you choose to take the call or not. Get a $25 credit when you call 1-888-246-0762.
Jen, guess who called Greg Johnson? Oh, I know. He was so in love with me. Who else? Hold on. Becky the bombshell, Doug the president of the student council. Oh, Howard the hunk is on the other line. I've got to take this call.
Call Waiting Deluxe works with caller ID, so you see who's calling when you're on the phone.
Hello, Howard.
Order these features as part of the Bell South Complete Choice plan. With the credit, it's like getting the box free.
Hello, Howard.
Greg Johnson. That's Howard.
Call 1-888-246-0762 by March 31st and handle it all.
Buffalo Rock Pepsi and WSFA celebrate the achievements of the Student of the Week. The principal at Billingsley High School describes Brad Chandler as an active member of the Beta Club, Math Club, Future Farmers of America, and Students Against Destructive Decisions. He's also a participant in varsity football and baseball, as well as editor of the yearbook. Active in his church and other community organizations, Brad's career choice, a cardiologist, a decision based on the medical treatment his grandfather received that saved his life. Congratulations, Student of the Week, and keep reaching for the stars.
With news that's close to home, this is WSFA News 12 Live at 5's Neighborhood News.
Today is International Working Women's Day. In today's Neighborhood News, Todd Rossnagel found a mayor hard at work in more ways than one.
There are a couple of interesting tidbits about the mayor here in Wetumpka. First, the mayor is a she. That's really no big deal, though. You see, Mayor Glenn is the third female to hold the esteemed office here in Wetumpka. But Mayor Glenn causes a bit of confusion with her first name, Joe.
Like that. Surprised at the number of letters that she gets addressed to Mayor J-O-E Glenn. It doesn't really bother me.
If those unique characteristics aren't enough for you, we've got one more. It all has to do with the dry cleaners located directly across the street from City Hall. It just happens to be the mayor's dry cleaners.
Kim, let's start out of the low.
Mayor Glenn ran and won the mayor's job in 1996, but she's still running, just not in the traditional sense.
Running, doing the job of the mayor.
Dozens of times every day, the mayor crosses the street from the City Hall to the cleaners, and back to the City Hall, and back to the cleaners, and back again to the City Hall, and, well, you get the idea.
Now, Todd, do you see why we changed shoes?
Oh, yeah.
As quickly as Joe changes shoes, she also has to change hats.
All right, Bessie, let me leave you with this. Let me go try to catch up a few clothes, and then I'm headed back to City Hall. I'm going to catch up on the hanging. I'm still making a living. I mean, that is my livelihood, and I understand the other business owners. I mean, I'm right there with them.
Mayors are supposed to tackle the pressing issues of the day. Mayor Glenn, she spends part of her day pressing the city's shirts.
So basically, you're not that far-fetched from one to the other. I mean, they're both equally a service business.
They say you can't fight City Hall, and that's certainly the case here in Wetumpka because City Hall is busy fighting for you. Fighting stains, that is. This is Todd Rossman, WSFA News 12, Neighborhood News.
At least it's never a chore to pick up her dry cleaning. Let's check in now with Rich Thomas in the Storm Center and find out what we can expect this evening. And you expect things to get a little rough overnight, Rich?
Yeah, across the area, from Wetumpka on all through the area, and we're going to go a little west of Wetumpka right now and go to Prattville and look at Neighborhood Weather Net at Daniel Pratt School. Conditions not conducive to severe weather right now. 58 degrees, 40% humidity. The wind southeast at 12 have been gusting today as high as 35. Our evening forecast calling for mostly cloudy, continued breezy, dry right now, 56 for the evening temperature, but could be some severe thunderstorms by late tonight. And we'll talk about that possibility a little bit closer next hour. Kim on the 6 o'clock report.
Sounds good. See you then, Rich.
Okay.
A world-renowned celebrity is about to reach a birthday milestone. Wait until you see how some people are celebrating. That's next in Picture of the Day.
In our house, movie night means it's Stouffer's lasagna night. This one, definitely this one. This means it's our turn to cook dinner. Hey, I got the Stouffer's. Oh, great.
When you've got a busy night, bring home Stouffer's entrees from Winn-Dixie for a delicious, convenient meal that lets you spend more time with your family and less time making dinner. Pick up Stouffer's entrees, now specially priced during Frozen Food Month at Winn-Dixie.
Funny how we all have the same taste in food. Can't say the same for movies.
Oh, guys, not this again.
Stouffer's, nothing comes closer to home.
Focus on the important stuff and get a $25 credit from Bell South.
Yeah, I know I'm watching. I can't believe it.
Some calls are just too important to interrupt. That's why there's Call Waiting Deluxe. Order now and get a $25 credit. Just call 1-888-763-5154.
I just hope he makes it.
It works with caller ID, so you'll see who's calling when you're on the phone.
That's Pam. I'll get to her in a second.
Even send them a hold message.
The call will be answered shortly.
She'll be so alone. And it's all Martha's fault. I love her. Sometimes she makes me want to...
Then bring them back for a three-way call.
Commercial. Great time to add Pam in.
Use your credit on your bill or on the equipment that does it all.
Then marry me. I'm on fire.
You're leaving us hanging like that? I'm exhausted.
No cliffhangers. Order Call Waiting Deluxe as part of the Bell South Complete Choice Plan. Get your credit. Call 1-888-763-5154.
Talk to you guys next week.
But call by March 31st. Something this juicy won't last.
Thunderstorms moving across our area. Some of those could be severe.
When severe weather hits Alabama,
Possible tornadic activity.
WSFA is there with First Warning, Super Doppler 12, and Storm Tracker,
We will be here as long as the chance for severe weather is here.
providing the information you need to keep your family safe.
We reported it first this morning on WSFA.
Yeah, this is the heaviest damage we've seen.
When severe weather strikes, turn to the Storm Team on WSFA, Alabama's news source.
Nobody covers the top-secret Vanity Fair photo shoot and the hot young stars who made the cut for the cover. It's Hollywood's hottest issue as they hit the stars gather for the camera. Then the SAG Awards. Ally McBeal will be there, along with Lynn Redgrave, facing cameras for the first time since her husband's shocking baby bombshell. And your first look at a new kid's new music video on ET.
Weeknights at 6:30 on WSFA.
It's a disease that affects hundreds of people, and it can cause blindness. Coming up tomorrow on Live at 5, senior reporter Doris Winkler talks about glaucoma. She shows us how a few preventive steps can protect our eyes against this and other debilitating eye diseases. That's coming up tomorrow on Live at 5.
Screening for this disease.
Tonight, with the secrets to America's nuclear weapons stolen, a possible case of espionage that went undetected for years. Also, Bob Costas tonight on Joe DiMaggio, next year on NBC Nightly News.
And please join us for the 6 o'clock report coming up, of course, in less than 35 minutes. The world's most famous fashion doll, Barbie, is turning 40 years old tomorrow. From London, we call our picture of the day, Celebrating in Style. In honor of her birthday, a one-of-a-kind Barbie was unveiled in London today. Now, the doll's aquamarine gown includes 160 diamonds. The 40th anniversary Barbie has been appraised at $70,000. Let's take a look now at that gown if we can get a close shot of that. The unveiling officially, and there she is, celebrating 40 years old. She always looks so youthful. Good luck adding this one to your collection, though. As we said, it's appraised at $70,000 with that diamond-studded gown. And that does it for Live at 5. Thank you for being here. See you tomorrow.
Legend, hero.